tell you for the 100th time, you'll never marry my niece.
And I tell you for the 1000th time, I will marry your niece, and right soon, too.
Never!
Your niece has consented to marry me, Mr. Vandergelder. This is a free country, not a private kingdom of your own.
There are no free countries for fools, Mr. Kemper. I thank you for the honor of your visit. Good morning.
Mr. Vandergelder, will you please sit still a minute? If I cut your throat, it will be practically unintentional.
Ermengarde is not for you, nor for anybody who cannot support her.
I tell you I can support her. I make a very good living.
No, sir. A living is made by selling something everyone needs at least once a year.
Yes, but...
Yes, sir. And $1 million is made by selling something that everyone needs every day. You artists produce something that no one needs at any time.
That's not true.
You may sell a picture once in a while, but you never make no living. Joe, knock on the door 3 times. Don't talk to Cornelius.
Not only can I support her now, but I have considerable expectations.
Expectations? We merchants don't do business with expectations. And I won't allow my niece to marry such people.
Very well. From now on, you might as well know that I regard any way that we might find to be married as right and fair. Ermengarde is of age, and there's no law.
Law? Let me tell you something, Mr. Kemper. Most people in the world are fools. It is law that'll prevent crime. It is men of sense that'll prevent foolishness. It is I and not the law that'll prevent Ermengarde from marrying you. Taking steps already. Sent her away to get this nonsense out of her head.
Ermengarde's not here?
She's gone. East, west, north, south. I thank you for the honor of your visit.
Everything's ready, Mr. Vandergelder. Ermengarde and I have just finished packing the trunk.
Hold your tongue!
Yes, Mr. Vandergelder. Ermengarde's ready to leave. His trunk is clearly marked. Care of Miss Van Heusen, 8 Jackson Street, New York.
Didn't I tell you that was a secret?
Care of Miss Van Heusen, 8 Jackson Street, New York. Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Vandergelder.
It won't help you, Mr. Kemper. Deaf and blind. At least do me the favor of being dumb.
Such a temper. Lord save us.
Yes, Mr. Vandergelder?
Go in and get my niece's trunk. Carry it over to the station. Wait, Gertrude, has Mrs. Levi arrived yet?
Don't shout. I hear perfectly well. Everything's clearly marked.
Have the buggy about round to the front store in half an hour.
Yes, Mr. Vandergelder.
This morning, I'm joining my launch parade, and this afternoon, I'm going to New York. Now, before I go, I have something important I want to say to you and Barnaby. Good news. Fact is, I've decided to promote you. How old are you?
33, Mr. Vandergelder.
What?
33.
I thought you were at least 40. What a foolish age to be at.
33.
Man's not worth a cent until he's at least 40. We just pay him wages to make mistakes, don't we, Joe?
You almost lost an ear on it, Mr. Vandergelder.
Go in and get my, I was thinking of promoting you to chief clerk.
Well, what am I now, Mr. Vandergelder?
You're an impertinent fool, that's what you are. Now, if you behave yourself, I'll promote you from impertinent fool to chief clerk, the raise in your wages. And that Barnaby Tucker may be promoted from idiot apprentice to incompetent clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Vandergelder.
However, I want to see you again before I go. Go and get my niece's trunk.
Yes, Mr. Vandergelder.
Joe, the world's getting crazier every day. Like my father used to say, the horses will be taking over the world soon.
I did what I could, Mr. Vandergelder. What with you flying in and out of the chair?
Fine, Joe. Do a fine job. Same fine job you've done for me for 20 years. Joe, I have a special reason for looking my best today. Is there something a little extra you could do? I'll pay you right up 50 cents. Do some of those things you do for the younger fellows.
All I know is 15 cents worth, like usual, Mr. Vandergelder. That includes everything that's decent to do to a man.
Now hold your horses, Joe.
I've shaved you for 20 years and you asked me no such question before.
Hold your horses, I say, Joe. I'm going to tell you a secret. All I ask is a little extra because I'm thinking of getting married again. And this very afternoon, I'm going to New York to call upon my intended, a very refined lady.
You're getting married is none of my business, Mr. Vandergelder. Then everything to you I know. The change is 15 cents, like it always was. And I don't dye no hair. Not even 50 cents I know.
Joe Scanlon, get out!
And lastly, looks to me like you're pretty rash to judge which is fools and which isn't fools. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, Mr. Vandergelder.
Well, what do you want?
Uncle, you said you wanted to talk to us.
Oh, yes. Gertrude, go get my parade regalia.
What?
My uniform for the lodge parade.
Oh, yes. Lord have mercy.
Ermengarde, I had a talk with that artist of yours.
And?
He's a fool. I told him when you're old enough to marry, you can marry someone who support you. I've done you a good turn. You'll come and thank me when you're 50.
But Uncle, I love him.
I tell you you don't.
But I do.
And I tell you you don't. Leave those things to me.
If I don't marry Ambrose, I know I'll die.
Of what?
A broken heart.
Never heard of it. Mrs. Levi is coming in a moment to take you to New York. You'll stay there 2 or 3 weeks with Miss Van Heusen, old friend of your mother's. And who are you?
Melly Knighstack, Your Honor. I heard you wanted an apprentice in the hay feed provision and hardware business.
Apprentice at your age?
Why, yes, Your Honor. I bring a lot of experience to it.
Have you any letters of recommendation?
Why, yes, indeed, Your Honor.
Ermengarde, are you ready to start?
Yes.
Well, go and get ready some more. Oh, Ermengarde, let me know the minute Miss Levi gets here.
Yes, Uncle Horace.
Well, I don't need an able seaman, I don't need a typesetter, and I don't want a hospital cook.
No, Your Honor, but it's all experience. Oh, excuse me. This one is from your former partner, Joshua Van Torn, an author.
For the most part, honest and reliable. Occasionally willing and diligent. There seems to be a certain amount of hesitation with these recommendations.
Why, businessmen are writers, Your Honor. Mr. Van Tor sends his best wishes and wants to know if you can use me in the provision and hardware business.
Not so fast. What's this your honor you so much?
But Mr. Van Toyle says you're president of the Hudson River Provision Dealers Recreational, Musical, and Burial Society.
That I am, but there's no your honor that goes with it. Now, I've seen you've been a barber and a valet too. Why do you change your place so often?
Change my place, Mr. Vandergaard, when a man's interested in
Do
experience.
you drink?
No thanks, just at breakfast.
I didn't ask whether idiots. I asked if you were a drunkard.
No, why, looking at it from all sides, I don't even like liquor.
Well, if you keep looking at it from all sides, out you go. Remember that. Right here, go ahead, your faults, I'm gonna give you a try.
You'll never regret it, Mr. Vandergaard.
Now today, I want to use you in New York. I judge you know your way around New York.
Oh, do I know New York, Mr. Vandergaard? I know every hole and corner of New York.
Alright, well, here's $1. Take that back to the Central Hotel on Water Street. Have them save me a room. I'll be there about 4 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Oh, but first, I'd like to meet the other clerks I'm to work with.
You haven't time? Station's across the street. Hurry now.
Yes, sir. You'll see, sir. You'll never regret it.
I regret it already. Go on, off with you. 99% of the people in the world are fools, and the rest of us are in great danger of contagion. But I wasn't always free of foolishness as I am now. I was once young, which was foolish. I fell in love, which was foolish. And I got married, which was foolish. And then, for a while, I was poor, which was more foolish than all the other things put together. And then my wife died, which was foolish of her. But then I grew older, which was sensible of me. And then I became a rich man, which is as sensible as it is rare. And since you see I'm a man of sense, you must be wondering why I don't plan to get married again. Well, I've got 2 reasons for it. First being, I like my house run with order, comfort, and economy. That's a woman's work. But even a woman can't do it well if she's merely being paid for it. In order to run a house well, a woman must have the feeling that she owns it. Marriage is a bribe. To make a housekeeper, think she's a householder. And the second reason, ladies and gentlemen, well, I can see by your face if you've guessed it already. There's nothing like mixing with women to bring out all the foolishness in a man of sense. And that's a risk I'm willing to take. I've just turned 60 and I just laid side by side my last dollar and my first $500,000. So if I lose my head a little, I'll have enough money to buy it back again. After many years, caution and hard work, I feel I have the right to a little risk and adventure. And I'm thinking of getting married again. Yes, like all you other fools, I'm willing to risk a little security for a certain amount of adventure. Think it over.
Ambrose! My uncle saw you! My hat!
Quick, your truck's at the station. We're running away.
Running away? Where?
to get married.
Oh, Ambrose, I can't do that. Ambrose, dear, it wouldn't be proper.
But I'm taking my friend's house. His wife will take care of it.
But Ambrose, a girl can't go on a train with a man. I can see you don't know anything about girls.
But I'm telling you, we're going to get married.
Married? But what would Uncle say?
We don't care what Uncle say. We're eloping.
Ambrose Kemper, how can you use such an awful word?
Ermengarde, you have the soul of a field mouse.
Ambrose, why do you say such cruel things to me?
For the last time, I beg you, get your hat and coat. Quick, the train leaves in a few minutes. Ermengarde, we'll get married tomorrow.
Oh, Ambrose, I can see you don't understand anything about weddings. Ambrose, don't you respect me?
Good morning, darling girl. How are you?
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Levi.
And who's this gentleman who's so devoted to you?
This is Mr. Kemper, Mrs. Levi. Ambrose, this is Mrs. Levi. She's an old friend.
Mrs. Levi, born Gallagher. Very happy to meet you, Mr. Kemper.
Good morning, Mrs. Levi.
Mr. Kemper, the artist? Delighted. Mr. Kemper, may I say something very frankly?
Yes, Mrs. Levi.
This thing you're planning to do is a very great mistake.
Oh, Mrs. Levi, could you please explain to Ambrose? Of course I want to marry him, but to elope.
Now, my dear girl, you go in and keep one on your uncle. I wish to talk to Mr. Kemper for a moment. You give us a warning when you hear your Uncle Horace coming.
Yes, Mrs. Levi.
Mr. Kemper, I was this dear girl, my mother's oldest friend. Believe me, I'm on your side. I hope you two will be married very soon. And I think I can say I can be of real service to you. Mr. Kemper, I always go right to the point.
What is the point, Mrs. Levi?
Mr. Vandegelder is a very rich man, Mr. Kemper, and Ermengarde is his only relative.
But I'm not interested in Mr. Vandergelder's money. I have enough to support a wife and family.
Enough? How much is enough when one is thinking of children and the future? The future is the most expensive luxury in the world, Mr. Kemper.
Mrs. Levi, what is the point?
Believe me, Mr. Vandegelder wishes to get rid of Ermengarde. And if you follow my suggestions, he will even permit her to marry you. You see, Mr. Vandegelder is planning to get married himself.
What? That monster?
Mr. Kemper.
Married to you, Mrs. Levi?
Oh, no. I'm merely arranging it. I'm hoping to find a suitable bride.
For Mr. Vandergelder, there are no suitable brides.
I think we can safely say that he'll be married to someone by the end of next week.
Well, what do you suggest?
I'm taking Ermengarde to New York on the next train. I shall not take Miss Van Heusen's, as is planned. I shall take her to my house. I wish to call my house at 5:30. Here is my card.
Mrs. Dolly Gallagher Levi? Varicose veins reduced?
I beg your pardon.
No, I beg your pardon. Consultation's free.
I meant to give my other card. Here.
Mrs. Dolly Gallagher Levi? Aurora hosiery? Instruction in the guitar and mandolin? You do all these things, Mrs. Levi?
2 and 2 make 4, Mr. Kemper. Always did. So you will come to my house at 5:30. At about 6, I shall take you both with me to the Harmonia Gardens restaurant on the Battery. Mr. Vandegelder will be there, and everything will be arranged.
How?
Oh, I don't know. One thing will lead to another.
How do I know I can trust you, Mrs. Levi? You could easily make our situation worse.
Mr. Kemper, your situation cannot possibly be worse.
I wish I knew what you got out of this, Mrs. Levi.
That is a very proper question. I get 2 things. Profit and pleasure.
How?
Mr. Kemper, I'm a woman who arranges things. At present, I'm arranging Mr. Vandegelder's domestic affairs. Out of it, I get, shall we say, little things. I need little things, Mr. Kemper. And especially just now, when I haven't got my train fare back to New York. You see, I am frank with you.
That's your profit, but where do you get your pleasure?
Life as it is never quite interesting enough for me. I'm bored, Mr. Kemper, with life as it is, so I do things. I put my hand in here, put my hand in there, and I watch, and I listen, and often, I'm very much amused.
Not in my affairs, Mrs. Levi.
Wait, I haven't finished. There's another thing. I'm very interested in his household theater, and Mr. Vandegelder, I know frozen money of his. I don't like the thought of it lying in great piles in the bank. Money should circulate like rainwater. It should be flowing down on the people, through the dressmakers and the restaurants and the cabmen, to enable a little business here, Pershing a good time there. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, I do.
see, Mr. Kemper, but it isn't. My late husband came from Vienna. Now that's to say understands this. New York should be more like Vienna and less like a collection of nervous and tired ants. And if you and Ermengarde would do a deal with Mr. Van de Gelder's money, I want you to start to see that starts flowing in and around a lot of people's lives. And for that reason, I want you to come with me to Harmonia Gardens restaurant tonight.
Mrs. Levi, of course, is coming.
Mr. Kemper, I think you better be going. Darling girl, Mr. Kemper and I had a very good time. You'll see. Mr. Van de Gelder and I will be dancing ready very soon. Oh, Mr. Van de Gelder, how handsome you look. You take my breath away. Yes, my dear girl, I'll see you soon. Oh, Mr. Van de Gelder. If only I really would to see you now. But then, I don't know what's come over you lately. You seem to be growing younger every day.
Allow me for exaggeration, Miss Levi. If a man eats carefully, there's no reason why he should look old.
You never said a truer word. However, to return to our business, I suppose you changed your mind again. I suppose you've given up all idea of getting married.
No, not at all. Miss Levi, I have news for you.
News?
I've practically decided to ask Miss Malloy to be my wife.
You have?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you have? Well, I guess it's just about the best news I've ever heard. So I guess there's nothing more for me to do but wish you every happiness under the sun and say goodbye.
Well, Miss Levi, surely I thought...
Well, I did have a little suggestion to make. But I won't. You're going to marry Malloy, and that closes the matter.
What suggestion was that, Miss Levi?
Well, I had found another girl for you.
Another?
The most wonderful girl. The ideal wife.
Another, eh? What's her name?
Her name,
Yes?
Ernestina. Simple. Miss Ernestina Simple. But now, of course, all that's too late. After all, you're practically engaged to marry Malloy.
Oh, I ain't engaged to Mrs. Malloy.
Nonsense. You can't break poor Irene's heart now and change to another girl. When a man at your time of life calls 4 times on an attractive widow like that, and sends her a pot of geraniums, well, that's practically an engagement.
Oh, that ain't an engagement.
And yet, if only you were a free man, every moment I feel like a traitor to Irene Malloy. But let me tell you, I couldn't help it. I found this treasure of a girl. Every moment I feel like a traitor to Irene Malloy.
Ernestina.
Ernestina Simple.
Ernestina Simple.
She's a very different idea from Miss Malloy, Ernestina is. Like her name, simple, domestic, practical.
But can't she cook?
Cook, Mr. Van de Gelder? I've had 2 meals from her hand, and as I live, I don't know what I've done that God should reward me with such meals. Her duck, her steak.
Mrs. Levi, how old is she?
19. Well, say 20.
Girls of 20 are apt to favor younger fellows of their own age.
But you don't listen to me, and you don't know the girl, Mr. Van de Gelder. She has a positive horror of flighty, brainless young men. No, I like a man that's settled. In so many ways she said it.
That's definitely not usual, Mrs. Levi.
Usual. I'm not wearing myself to the bone hunting up usual girls to introduce Mr. Van de Gelder. Do you know what type of picture she has on her walls? Is it any of these young Romeos? No, it's most on mine. That's what she's got. However, I'm not going to tell you anymore. Couldn't you come to New York today?
Well, I was thinking of coming to New York this afternoon.
You were? Well now, I wonder if something could be arranged. She's so eager to meet you.
Could I, Mrs. Levi? I get you 2 girls a little dinner, maybe?
Really? Come to think of it, I don't know where I put the time. I'm so busy with this wretched boss of mine. Yes, if I win, I don't mind telling you. I'll be what's called a very rich woman. All on half Long Island, that's a fact. But just now, I'm at my wit's end for a little help. Just enough money to finish it off. My wit's end. But perhaps I could arrange a little dinner. Yes, for that lawsuit, all I need is $50, and it's not as good as mine. I've been trotting all over New York for you, trying to find you a suitable wife.
$50?
2 whole months at
$50, Mr. Levi's no joke. I don't know where all the money's gone to these days. It's in hiding. Well, let's see. Oh, here's 20. Well, here's 25. Now can't spare no more. Not now I can't.
This will help. Will help someone. Now let me tell you what we'll do. I'll bring Ernestine to the restaurant in the back room. You know it, the Harmonia Gardens. It's good, but it's not flashy. Now, it'd be real nice if, just this once, you'd order a real nice dinner. I guess you can afford it.
Well, just this once.
A chicken wouldn't hurt.
A chicken? Well, just this once.
And a little wine.
Wine too? Well, just this once.
Now about Miss Malloy. What do you think? Should we call the subject closed?
No, not at all. I want to have dinner with Miss Simple. But first, I want to make another call on Miss Malloy.
Dear, dear, dear. And Miss Simple? The races you make me run. Very well. I'll meet you on one of those park benches in front of Miss Malloy's store at 4:30 as usual.
Lucky's here ready for the parade, Mr. Van de Gelder.
Go and call Barnaby. I want to talk to both of you.
Yes, Mr. Van de Gelder.
Now do put your thoughts in order. I can keep upsetting and disturbing the finest woman in New York, unless you mean business.
Oh, I mean business, all right.
I hope so, because you're playing a very dangerous game.
Dangerous, Mr. Levi?
Of course it's dangerous. You're tampering these women's affections, aren't you? And the only way you can save yourself now is to be married to someone by the end of next week. So think that over.
Yes, Mr. Van de Gelder.
This morning, I'm joining my lodge parade. This afternoon, we're in New York. Now, when I come back, there's going to be some changes in the house. I'll tell you what the changes are, but I don't want you discussing it amongst yourselves. You're going to have a mistress.
I'm too young, Mr. Van de Gelder.
Not yours, idiot, mine. Hold your tongue. I'm thinking of getting married.
Oh, many congratulations, Mr. Van de Gelder. My compliments to the lady.
That's none of your business. Have you any questions before I go?
Mr. Van de Gelder, does the chief clerk get one evening off every week?
So, that's the way you begin being chief clerk, is it? When I was your age, I got up at 5. I didn't close the store until 10 at night, and then I put in a good hour at the account books. Now, the world's going to pieces. No, sir, you don't attend to the store as usual. On Friday and Saturday nights, you'll remain open until 10. Now, hear what I say. This is the first time I've been away from the store overnight, and I want to hear that you run the place perfectly in my absence. If I hear of any foolishness, tomfoolery, hooliganism, horseplay, buffoonery, shenanigans, or general silly antics, I'll discharge you. An evening free. Do you suppose that I had evenings free? If I had evenings free, I would be where I am today.
Of course, he didn't right away when I saw him.
What's the matter with this?
Chief clerk. Promoted from chief clerk to chief clerk.
Oh, don't you like it?
Chief clerk. Oh, and if I'm good in 10 years, I'll be chief clerk again. 33 years old. I still can't get an evening free. When do I get to start living?
Well, you could begin to live on Sundays for at least.
That's not living. Twice the church old wolf trap's eyes in the back of my head the whole time. When I asked for holidays, what we do last Christmas, huh? All those canned tomatoes, they were bad and exploded. We had to spend the whole afternoon cleaning them up. Was that living?
No.
Barnaby. How much money have you got?
Oh, $3. Why, Cornelius?
You and I are going to New York.
New York? Cornelius, we can't. Close the store?
Some more rotten tomatoes are going to explode.
Holy cabooses. How do you know?
Well, I know they're rotten. All you have to do is light a match under them. It'll make such a smell. Customers can't come in the place for 24 hours. And that'll give us an evening free. We're going to New York too, Barnaby. We're going to live. You and I, we're going to have enough adventures to last me until I'm caught. Let's go get your Sunday clothes on.
What?
Yes, yeah, I mean it. We're going to have a good meal. We're going to be in danger. We're going to get almost arrested. Oh, you're going to spend all your money.
Holy cabooses.
Oh, and one more thing, Barnaby. You and I aren't coming back to New York until we've kissed a girl.
Kiss a girl? Cornelius, you can't do that. You don't know any girls.
Well, I'm 33. I gotta begin sometime.
Well,
I'm only 17, Cornelius. It isn't so urgent for me.
Don't stop backing down now. The worst comes to the worst, we get discharged. We can always join the army. Will you come?
Yes, Cornelius.
Mr. Hackle, is the trunk waiting at the railway station?
Yes, Mrs. Levi.
Take the last look, Ermengarde.
What?
Take the last look, your good home here.
Oh, Gertrude, do you think I ought to get married this way? The young girl has to be so careful.
You know, I think I'm gonna have this room in blue wallpaper. Yes, in blue.
All clear here, Cornelius. Cornelius, hold the candles any minute. You're sort like you're ready to bust. Hold the roses! Please,
Go get your Sunday clothes on, Barnaby. We're going to New York.
Minnie, you're a fool. Of course I shall marry Horace Vanderbilt.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, I didn't ask you. I wouldn't dream of asking such a personal question.
But it's what you meant, isn't it? And there's your answer. I shall certainly marry Horace Vanderbilt if he should ask me.
I know it's none of my business, but
Speak up, Minnie, I can't hear you.
do you...
Minnie, you're a fool. Say it. Do I love him? Of course I don't love him, but I have two good reasons for marrying him just the same. Minnie, put something on that hat. It's not ugly enough.
Not ugly enough?
I couldn't sell it. Put a sponge on it.
Why, Mrs. Malloy, you're in such a mood today.
In the first place, I shall marry Mr. Vandergelder to get away from the millinery business. I've hated it from the first day I had anything to do with it. Minnie, I hate hats.
Why, what's the matter with the millinery business?
I can no longer stand being suspected of being a wicked woman while I have nothing to show for it.
Why, no one would dream of suspecting you.
Minnie, you're a fool. All milliners are suspected of being wicked women. Why, half the time, all these women come to the shop merely to look at me. They enjoy the suspicion, but they aren't certain. If they were certain I was a wicked woman, they wouldn't put foot in this place again. Do I go to restaurants? No, it would be bad for business. Do I go to balls or theaters or operas? No, it would be bad for business. The only men I ever meet are feather merchants. What are those two young men doing out there on that park bench? Take my word for it, Minnie. Either I marry Horace Vandergelder, or I break out of this place like a fire engine. I'll go to every theater, ball, and opera in New York City.
But Mr. Vandergelder's not...
Speak up, Minnie, I can't hear you.
Well, I don't think he's attractive.
But what I think he is, and it's very important, I think he'd make a good fighter.
Mrs. Malloy!
Take my word for it, Minnie. The best of married life is the fights. The rest is merely so-so. Peter Malloy, God rest him, was a fine arguing man. I pity the woman whose husband slams the door and walks out of the house at the beginning of an argument. Peter Malloy would stand up and fight for hours on end. He'd even throw things, Minnie. And there's no pleasure to equal that. When I felt tired, I'd start a good blood-warming fight, and it'd take 10 years off my hands. Now Horace Vandergelder would put up a good fight. I know it.
I think they're just awful, the things you're saying today. Mrs. Malloy, those two men out on the street.
What?
Those men. It looks as if they meant to come in here.
Well, now it's time some men came into this place. I give you the other one, Minnie.
Aren't you terrible?
Oh, wait till I get my hands on that older one. Mark my words, Minnie, we'll get an adventure out of this yet. Minnie, they're coming in here. Let's go into the workroom and make them wait for us for a minute.
Oh, but Mrs. Malloy, my work.
Hurry up, Minnie! Oh.
No one's here.
And some women were here a minute ago, I saw. Oh, that's Wolftrap, all right. Well, we gotta wait here until he passes by.
He's sitting down on the bench. It may be quite a while.
When these women come in, we gotta make conversation with them until he's gone away. Pretend we're buying a hat. How much money have you got?
Oh, 70 cents for the train, 40 cents for dinner, 20 cents to see the whale, and $1 I lost. I have 70 cents.
I got $1.75. I wish I knew how much hats cost.
Is this an adventure, Cornelius?
No. But it may be.
I think it is. There we wander around New York all day and nothing happens. And then we come to the quietest street in the whole city. And suddenly Mr. Vandergelder turns the corner. I think, Cornelius, I think that Mrs. Levi is there now. She's sitting down on the bench with him.
Oh, what do you know about that? We know only one person, all New York City. There she is.
Even if our adventure came on now, I'd be too tired to enjoy it. Cornelius, why isn't this an adventure?
Oh, when you're an adventure, you know all right.
Maybe I wouldn't. Cornelius, let's arrange a signal for you to give me if an adventure's really going on. For instance, you say pudding. Say pudding to me if it's an adventure we're in.
Yeah, I wonder where the lady runs the store is. What's her name again?
Mrs. Malloy, ask for ladies.
Oh yeah, Mrs. Malloy. Well, I gotta think what I'm gonna say to her when she comes in. Good afternoon, Mrs. Malloy. Wonderful weather we're having. We've been looking everywhere for some beautiful hats.
That's fine, Cornelius.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Malloy. We'll make this think we're very rich. Good afternoon, Mrs. Malloy. Wonderful weather we're having. You keep your eye on the door the whole time. We've been looking everywhere for some beautiful hats. Good afternoon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have I kept you waiting? Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Cornelius Hacker.
Barney Tucker.
I'm very happy to meet you. Perhaps I can help you. Won't you sit down?
Oh, thank you, we will. You see, Mrs. Malloy, we're looking for hats. We looked everywhere. You know what we heard? Go to Mrs. Malloy, they said. So, we came here. Only place we could go.
Well, now that's very complimentary.
And they were right. Everybody was right.
You wish to choose some hats for a friend?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
We were thinking 5 or 6.
5.
You see, Mrs. Malloy, money's no object with us.
Why, Mr. Hackle!
Mrs. Malloy, I beg your pardon, but this is an interesting street you've got here. Passes by, something happen every minute.
You're from out of town, Mr. Hackle?
Yes, we are. You keep your eye on the door. You won't see that now because every day.
Oh, yes, I will.
Now this friend of yours, couldn't she come in someday and choose some hats herself?
No, she's, well, it's a surprise for her.
Indeed. That may be a little difficult. It's not entirely customary. Your friend is very interested in the street, Mr. Hackle.
Yes, reason to be. Like I was saying, we're from Yonkers.
Yonkers?
Yonkers, yes, Yonkers. Oh, you should know Yonkers, Mrs. Malloy. Hudson River, Palisades, Drives. Some say it's the most beautiful town in the whole world. That's what they say anyway.
Is that so?
No, Mrs. Malloy, if you ever had a Sunday free, we'd like to show you Yonkers.
That's very kind of you. Well, perhaps. Now about those hats.
Now, Mrs. Malloy, is there have you, well, maybe Mr. Malloy would like to see Yonkers too.
Oh, I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
Oh, you are? Oh, that's too bad. Mrs. Malloy would have liked Yonkers.
Very likely. Now this friend of yours, is she light or dark hair?
Don't think about that for a minute. Any hat you choose would be perfectly all right with that.
Really? Do you like this one?
Barnaby, look. Mrs. Malloy, that's the most beautiful hat I ever saw.
Your friend's acting very strangely, Mr. Hackle.
Barnaby, stop acting strangely. When the street's nice and quiet, come over and talk to us. What was I saying? Oh, yes, you should know Yonkers, Mrs. Malloy.
The fact is, I have a friend in Yonkers. Perhaps you know him. It's, Mr. Vandergelder.
What was it you said?
Then you do know him.
Horace Vandergelder.
Yes, that's right.
Know him? Why, no. Why, what an interesting job you got here, Mrs. Malloy. Lots of places, where does this door lead to?
Oh, why, Mr. Hackle, that's my workroom.
And under this counter, Barnaby, make note of all the cupboards, in this closet, this table, fine piece of furniture, low-hanging tablecloth, I see.
Mr. Vandergelder is a very substantial and very well-liked man, they tell me.
Yes, a lovely man, Mrs. Malloy.
Ah, yes, charming.
There's only one fault as far as I hear. He's as hard as nails, but apart from that, charming nature, man.
And a large circle of friends?
5 or 6. 5. I suppose that he calls on you from time to time?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm expecting a visit from him this afternoon.
Cornelius, I think...
And now to show you some more hats.
I beg your pardon, Mrs. Malloy.
Look out!
A gentleman, Mr. Hackle, come out there this minute.
Help us just this once, Mrs. Malloy, please.
Mr. Hackle.
Whereas it is as can be, Mrs. Malloy.
But really, gentlemen, I can't have this. What are you doing?
Cornelius, pudding?
Pudding.
Irene, my darling child, how are you?
But what a surprise! And Mr. Vandergelder in New York. What a pleasure.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Malloy.
Irene, we thought we'd pay you a short call. Now you tell us what's inconvenient, won't you?
Inconvenient, Dolly, the idea. Why, it's sweet of you to come.
We just waited outside a moment.
Mr. Vandergelder thought he saw 2 customers coming in. 2 2 men.
Men? Men, Mr. Vandergelder, why? What will you be saying next?
Then we'll sit down for a minute or two.
Oh, before you sit down, there's something I'd like to show you. I'd like to show Mr. Vandergelder my workroom.
I've seen the workroom 100 times. I'll sit right here in John's and Pat's.
No, Dolly, you come too. I have something for you. Come along, everybody. Mr. Vandergelder, I want your advice. You don't know how helpless a woman in business is. Oh, I feel I need advice every minute from a fine business head like yours. Now I shut the door.
Maybe she wants us to go, Cornelius.
Oh, no, certainly I won't go. Miss Malloy would just think we're foolish fellas.
What are we going to do if Mr. Vandergelder goes? Are we just going to run away?
Oh, no, we'll pretend we're buying a hat. Give me that money you got. All these perfumes tickle my nose. But I like it in here. It's a woman's world. Very different.
I like it where I'm too. Only, I like it better if I had a pillow.
Oh, here, take this coat. Oh, I'll roll it up so it doesn't get mussed. Ladies don't like to have their coats mussed.
Oh, that's fine, Cornelius. Now I can just lie here and listen to Mr. Vandergelder talk. Can I take my shoes off, Cornelius?
Ain't the world full of wonderful things? There we sit cooped up in Yonkers, day after day, and all whole time, wonderful ladies like Miss Malloy are walking around New York, we don't even know it. Well, I don't know whether from where you're sitting anyway you can see well. For instance, the way that her cheek and her eye and her forehead come together. Or the fireworks that shoot out of her eyes. Well, I'll tell you right now, a fine woman is the greatest work of God. You can talk all you like about Niagara Falls or the pyramids, but they aren't in it at all. Of course, over there in Yonkers, they come in the store all the time, and I say to them, yes, ma'am, that'll be 75 cents, ma'am. And I watch them. But today I talked to them. Equal to equal. Well, to the finest one that ever existed, in my opinion. They're so different from men. And they're awfully mysterious, too. They got this kind of wall around them all the time, of pride, a sort of play acting. I bet you could know in 100 years, never be sure if she liked you or not. In this minute, I'm in danger. I'm in danger of losing my job, my future, everything people think is important. But I don't care. Because even if I had to dig ditches the rest of my life, I'd be a ditch digger who once had a wonderful day. Barnaby, come on, wake up.
You woke me up.
Barnaby, we can't go back to Yonkers yet. You know why?
Why not?
Well, we've had a good meal. We've been in danger of getting arrested. Spent almost all your money. There's only one thing we gotta do before we get back to being successes in Yonkers.
Cornelius, you're never going to kiss Mrs. Malloy.
Maybe.
But she'll scream.
Barnaby, I'll have you know right now, every other person in the world goes through life kissing left and right except for us.
Well, thanks for telling me, Cornelius. I often wonder.
Just a minute. I must buy. Why, Mr. Hackle? I thought you were in Yonkers.
I almost always am, Mrs. Levi.
You're terribly innocent, Mrs. Levi.
Why, who's that?
Marmy Tucker, Hispanic all.
Well, who else is here?
It's just the two of us, ma'am. Please help us.
Old friends with Mrs. Malloy? Is that it?
No. We only knew her since this afternoon, but we like her a lot, don't we, Barnaby? But, in fact, I think she's the finest person in the world.
She think you're the finest person in the world?
No, I don't suppose she knows I'm alive.
Well, I think she must go stick around that cover, Mr. Hackle. If I were you, I'd get back there right away. Someone could be coming in any minute.
Can I help you, Dolly?
Oh, no. I was just 1 minute.
Mr. Malloy, got some advice to give you about your business.
Oh, advice from Mr. Vandergelder? The whole city should hear this.
In the first place, the aim of business is to make profit.
Is that so?
I never heard it put so clearly before.
Mrs. Malloy, you pay those girls of yours too much. You pay them as much as men. Girls like that enjoy their work. Wages, Mrs. Malloy, are paid to make people do work that they don't want to do.
Mr. Vandergelder thinks so vaguely, and that's exactly what his business is when up in Yonkers.
Mrs. Malloy, I'd like for you to come up to Yonkers.
Oh, that'd be very nice. Oh, thank you. As a matter of fact, I know someone from Yonkers, someone else.
Oh, who's that?
Someone quite well-to-do, I believe, though a little free and easy in his behavior. Mr. Vandergelder, do you know a Mr. Cornelius Hackle in Yonkers?
Oh, I know him like I know my own boot. He's my head clerk.
Is that so?
He's been in my store for 10 years.
Well, I never.
Where would you have known him?
Oh, just those chance meetings, I suppose.
I guess so, yes, one of those chance meetings.
What? Chance meetings? Cornelius Hackle has no right to chance meetings. He works all day in my store. Where would you have known him?
Really, Mr. Vandergelder, it is unlike you to question me in such a way. I believe Mr. Hackle is better known than you think he is.
Nonsense.
He's in New York often, and he's, very well liked.
Well, the truth might as well come out now as later. Mr. Vandergelder, Irene is quite right. Your head clerk is in New York often, goes everywhere, has an army of friends. Everybody knows Cornelius Hackle.
Dolly Gallagher, you're crazy.
Listen to me. You keep your nose so deep in your account books, you don't even know what's going on. Yes, by day, Cornelius Hackle is your faithful, trusted clerk. That's true. But by night, well, he leads a double life, that's all. He's here at the opera, at the great restaurants, in all the fashionable homes. Why, he's at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant 3 nights a week. The fact is, he's the wittiest, gayest, naughtiest, most delightful man in New York. Why, he's just the famous Cornelius Hackle.
He's never in New York. He works all day in my store, and at 9 o'clock at night, he goes to sleep in my brand room.
Who took the horse out of Jalen's carriage and both their streets?
Who?
Cornelius Hackle. Who dressed up as a waiter at the 5th Avenue Hotel and dropped an oyster down his... No, it's too wicked to tell you.
Oh, yes, Dolly, tell it, go on.
No, but it was Cornelius Hackle.
It ain't the same man. Where did he get the money?
But he's very rich.
Rich? I keep his money in my own safe. It's $146.35.
Oh, Mr. Vandergelder, you're killing me. Do come to your senses. He's one of the Hackles.
The Hackles?
They built the Raritan Canal.
Then why should he work in my store?
Well, I'll tell you.
I don't want to hear it. I've got a headache and I'm going home. It ain't the same man. He works all day in my store and he sleeps in my brand room. You just can't get away from facts. I just made him my chief clerk.
And if you have any sense, you make him partner. Now, Irene, I can see you're as taken with him as everyone else is.
Oh, I only met him once. Very hastily.
Yes, but I can see you were taken with him. No, don't be thinking you're marrying him.
Why, Dolly, what are you saying?
Mrs. Malloy, how often has he called upon you?
Oh, I'm telling the truth. I've only seen him once in my life. Dolly Levi's been exaggerating, so I don't know where to look.
Excuse me, Mrs. Malloy. I must get together that order for Mrs. Parkinson.
Oh, yes, we must get that off before closing.
I want to send it off by the errand girl.
Oh, I almost forgot the codes. Oh, I'll do that, Minnie. What? Minnie, you imagined it. You're tired here. Let's go to work a bit later.
You're standing there looking out. Hurry up, come out of there.
Nonsense. There's no man in there. See? Miss Faisner has been playing tricks on her. Come now, let's sit down again. What were you saying, Mr. Vandergelder? Well now. God bless you.
Yes, there is a man in there. I'll explain it all to another time. Thank you very much for coming to see me. Good afternoon, Dolly. Good afternoon, Mr. Vandergelder.
You're protecting a man in there.
There's a very simple explanation, but for the present, good afternoon.
Lord, I'm really falling in bed. I'll never get over it.
The world's torn to pieces. I can't believe my own eyes.
Come, Mr. Vandergelder. Ernestine Smith is waiting for us.
Mrs. Malloy, I shan't trouble you again. And vice versa.
Now, Irene, when I think of all the interesting things you have in this room, make the most of it, dear. Goodbye. Goodbye.
So that was one of your practical jokes, Mr. Hackle?
No.
Come out from there this minute, Barnaby Tucker, you troublemaker. Minnie, there's nothing to be afraid of. I know all about these gentlemen.
Mrs. Malloy, we realize what happened to you was a...
You think because you're rich you can make up for all the harm you do, is that it?
No.
Minnie, this is the famous Cornelius Hackle who goes around New York tying people into knots. And that's Barnaby Tucker, another troublemaker.
How do you do?
Minnie, choose yourself any hat coat in the store. We're going out to dinner. If this Mr. Hackle is so rich and gay and charming, He's going to be rich and gay and charming to us. He dines 3 times a week at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant. Well, he's taking us there now.
Mrs. Malloy, are you sure it's safe?
Hold your tongue, Minnie. We're in a position to put these men into jail if they so much to squeak.
Jail, Mrs. Malloy.
Jail?
Jail, Mr. Hackle. Officer Cumberty does everything I tell him to do. Minnie, you and I have been respectable for years. Now we're in a position of disgrace. We might as well make the most of it. Let's go to the workroom. I know some ways we can fix up our appearance. Gentlemen, we'll be back in a minute.
Mrs. Malloy, I actually know a great restaurant down there at the railway station.
Railway station? Certainly not. You're going to give us a good dinner in the heart of the fashionable world. Go on in, Minnie. Don't you boys forget you made us lose our reputation. And now the fashionable world's the only place we can eat.
She's angry at us for this. Maybe we better run away now.
No jail. We're taking those ladies out to dinner with grit your teeth.
Gentlemen, the cabs are at the corner, so forward march.
Mrs. Malloy, is it far to the restaurant? Maybe we can walk.
Minnie, take off your things. We're not going.
Mrs. Malloy!
I don't go where I'm not wanted. Good night, Mr. Hackle. I'm not very happy to have met you.
Mrs. Malloy!
You suppose I don't think we're fashionable enough for you. Well, I won't be a burden to you. Good night, Mr. Tucker.
Mrs. Malloy, we want you to go with us more than anything in the world, really.
No, you don't. Look at you. Look at the pair of them, Minnie. Scowling, both of them.
Please, Mrs. Malloy.
Then smile. Go on, smile. No, that's not enough. Come with me, Minnie. We'll get our own supper.
Hey, smile, Barnaby, a lot.
My face can't sound any stronger than that.
Then do something. Show some interest. Do something lively. Sing.
Oh, no, I can't sing, really, Mrs. Malloy.
Minnie, we're wasting our time. They don't want us.
Barnaby, can you sing? Oh, we only know sad songs, Mrs. Malloy.
That doesn't matter. If you want us to come out with you, you're going to have to sing something.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray.
You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Well, come. You boys go ahead.
Mrs. Malloy, you're crying.
Oh, Minnie, the world is so full of wonderful things. Now watch me, dear, and tell me if my petticoat is showing.
Hear what I say? I don't want you to make any mistakes. I want a table for 3.
Oh, 3 pickles.
Maybe 2 ladies and myself.
It's a bad combination, Mr. Vandergutter. You'll regret it.
And I want chicken.
A chicken? You'll regret it.
Hold your tongue. Write it down. Chicken.
Yes, sir. Chicken carapazzi, chicken cacciatore, or chicken
A chicken. A chicken like everyone else has. And with the chicken, I want a bottle of wine.
Mosaic, Chablis, or Rouget.
He doesn't understand English, Mr. Vandergutter. You better speak louder.
W-I-N-E. Wine.
Wine.
Wine. And I want this table removed. We'll eat at that table alone.
There are some people coming in here now, Mr. Vandergutter.
What? Franny's Ermengarde. What's she doing here?
Mr. Vandergutter, keep your temper.
There's that rascal artist with her. It's a plunge. I'll throw them in jail.
Mr. Vandergutter, they're old enough to come to New York. You can't throw people in jail just for coming to New York.
There's Mrs. Levi. What's she saying to cabmen? Go up and listen.
She's telling the cabman to wait, Mr. Vandergutter. She's telling the young people to come in and have a good dinner.
I'll put an end to this.
Now, Mr. Vandergutter, if you lose your temper, you'll only make matters worse. So come here, take my advice.
Quit pulling at me. What's your advice?
Hide, Mr. Vandergutter. Hide behind this screen and listen to what they're saying.
Stop pulling at me.
But I don't want to eat in a restaurant. It's not proper.
Now, Ermengarde, dear, there's nothing wicked about eating in a restaurant. There's nothing wicked about being in New York. Clergymen just mix those things up to God their sermons.
Oh, I wish I were in Yonkers where nothing ever happens.
Ermengarde, you're hungry. That's what's troubling you.
Anyways, after dinner, you must promise to take me to Aunt Flora's. She's been waiting for me all day, and she must be half dead of fright.
All right. But Miss Van Dusen to be back in your uncle's hands.
I can't stand it!
Just keep telling yourself how pretty she is.
Listen, Ermengarde, you don't want to go back to your uncle. Stop and think. That old man with one foot in the grave.
And the other 3 in the cash box.
Smelling of oats.
And apple trees.
That's not true. That's only partly true.
Hold your tongue. I'm gonna teach them a lesson.
Keep your temper, Mr. Vandergelder.
Oh dear, what was I saying? The Lord be praised, how glad I am I got you 2 dreadful children. Just when you're about to break poor dear Mr. Vandergelder's heart.
He's got no heart to break.
He's a much kinder man than you think.
Kinder, he's a wolf.
Remember, he leads a very lonely life. Now you're gonna have dinner upstairs. Come with me.
I'll show them.
Everybody should eavesdrop once in a while. Well, I always say, there's nothing like eavesdropping. Show you that the world outside your head is different from the world inside your head.
I want to write a note. Call that cabman in here. I want to talk to him.
No one asks advice of a cabman, Mr. Vandergelder. Why? They've seen so much of life that they have no ideas left.
Can you just do what I tell you?
Yes, sir.
My dear Miss Van Heusen, this is Ermengarde and that rascal Ambrose Kemper. They're trying to run away. Keep them in your house until I come.
What's he want?
I want to talk to you.
Well, I'm engaged. I'm waiting for my parties.
I know you are. Do you want to earn $5?
I don't know. Never tried.
When those parties of yours come downstairs, I want you to take them to this address. Never mind what they say. Take them to this address, ring the bell, give this letter to the lady of the house, see that they get in the door, and keep them there.
I can't make people go into a house if they don't want to.
Can you for $10?
Even for $10, I can't do it alone.
This fellow here will help you.
Now I'm pushing people into houses.
There's the address. It's 4 Van Heusen, 8 Jackson Street.
Even if I get them in the door, I can't be sure that they'll stay there.
For $15 you can.
Murder. He gets it $25.
Hold your tongue. The lady of the house will help you. All you have to do is sit in the hall and see that the man doesn't run off with the girl. I'll be at Miss Van Heusen's in an hour or 2. I'll pay you then.
If they call the police, I can't do anything.
Oh, it's perfectly honest business.
Every man is the best judge of his own honesty.
The young lady's my niece. She's trying to run away with a good-for-nothing, and we are preventing it.
Oh, I know them, sir. They'll win in the end. Rivers don't run uphill.
What did I tell you, Mr. Vandergelder? Advice of a cabman.
Stack, I'll be back in half an hour. See that the table's set for 3. See that no one else eats there. Then go and join the cabin on the box.
Yes, sir.
Who's your friend?
Friend. That's not a friend. That's an employer I'm trying out for a few days.
You won't like him.
I can see you're in business for yourself because you talk about liking employers. No one's liked an employer since business began.
I had an employer once. He just watched me from 8 in the morning till 6 at night. Just sat there and watched me. Even my own mother didn't think I was as interesting as that.
Yes, being employed is like being loved. You have somebody thinking about you the whole time.
See, here's the place I meant. Isn't it fine? Minnie, take off your things. We'll be here for hours.
Mrs. Malloy, are you sure you like it in here? I think I feel a draft.
Indeed, I do like it. We're going to have a fine dinner right in this room. It's private and it's elegant. Now we're all going to forget our troubles and call each other by our first names. Cornelius, call the waiter.
Oh, wait.
Waiter! I lost my voice.
I don't believe you. Why didn't you call him?
Waiter! Waiter!
This is the most wonderful place I've seen in my entire life. Mrs. Malloy, is this what they call a cafe?
Yes, this is a cafe. Sit down, Minnie. Cornelius, Mrs. Levi gives to understand that every waiter in New York knew you.
Oh, yeah, they will.
A good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Fritz, my old pal, how are you, Fritz?
I'm Rudolph.
Oh, Rudolph. Well, these ladies want a little something to eat, if you know what I mean? Just, if you can find the time. We know how busy you are.
Cornelius, there's no need to be so familiar with the waiter.
Oh, yes, there is.
Minnie, what do you want to eat?
Just anything, Irene.
No, speak up. What do you want?
No, really, I have no appetite at all. Oh. I'll have some sardines on toast with a glass of milk, please.
What a sensible girl. Bonnie, shake Minnie's hand. Most sensible girl in the world. Rudolph, bring us gentlemen two bottles of beer, some bread, some cheese.
I never heard of such nonsense. We've come here for a good dinner and a good time. Minnie, have you ever eaten pheasant? Pheasant?
No.
Rudolph, have you any pheasant?
Yes, ma'am. Just in from New Jersey today.
Even the pheasants are leaving New Jersey. Now write this down. Mock turtle soup.
Mock turtle soup.
Pheasant.
Pheasant.
Mashed chestnuts.
Mashed to the chestnuts.
Green salad.
Green salad.
And some nice red wine.
Red wine.
All right, Barnaby, watch this. Neapolitan ice cream, hot house peaches, champagne.
Champagne!
Oh, and a German band. Have you got a German band?
No, Cornelius, I won't let you be extravagant. Champagne, but no band. Minnie, come upstairs. I have an idea about your hair. I think it'd be nice in a two-wee horn.
Oh. Horns.
Cornelius, they say in the army you have to peel potatoes all the time.
That won't matter. By the time we get out of jail, we can move over to the old men's home.
Waiter, what's that you have?
It's champagne, man.
Cornelius, it's our champagne!
No. It's for His Honor the Mayor of New York. He's very impatient.
Shame on him. The mayor of New York has more important things to be impatient about. Cornelius, open it!
Man, don't kill me.
I go to a public restaurant for the first time in 10 years, and all the waiters burst into tears. There, take that and stop crying, love. Barnaby, make a toast.
I? To all the ladies in the world, may I get to know more of them, and may I get to know them better.
To the ladies.
That's very sweet and very refined. Minnie, for that I'm going to give Barnaby a kiss. Oh! Hold your tongue, Minnie. I'm old enough to be his mother. Barnaby, this is for you, from all the ladies in the world.
Now we can go back to Yonkers, Cornelius. Booty!
Oh, look at Barnaby. He's not strong enough for a kiss. His head can't stand it. Minnie, I'm enjoying myself. To think that this goes on in hundreds of places every night, while I sit at home darning my stockings. Cornelius, dance with me.
Oh, Irene, the Hackies don't dance. We're Presbyterians.
You dance with me.
Lovely music, Irene.
Why, Minnie? You dance beautifully.
We girls dance in the workroom when you're not looking, Irene.
You thought I'd be angry. Oh dear. No one in the world understands anyone else in the world. Cornelius, Jenny Lynn and all those other ladies. Do you see them often?
No, Irene, I put them right out of my mind. I'm more interested in the particular...
Rudolph, what are you doing?
A table has been reserved here. Special orders.
Stop right where you are. That party keep me inside. This veranda's ours.
I'm very sorry, but this veranda is open to anybody who wants it. Ah, here comes the man who has brought the order.
Take your table away from here. We got here first. Cornelius, throw him out.
Ma'am, my employer reserved this room at 4 o'clock this afternoon. You can go and eat in the restaurant. My employer said it was very important that he have the table alone.
No, sir. We've come here for a good dinner, and we're going to stay here alone, too.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Shut up, you. You're an impertinent idiotic killjoy.
But that's an insult.
All the facts about your insults. Cornelius, do something. Knock it over the table.
Knock it over?
I am very sorry, but this room is open to anybody who wants it. If you want to eat alone, you must go upstairs. I'm very sorry, but that is the rule.
We're having a nice dinner in this room, and we're going to stay here. Cornelius, knock it over.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you what we will do. There is a big screen here. We will move the screen in between the tables. August, come and help me.
I won't eat behind a screen. I won't. Minnie, make a noise. We're not some animals in a menagerie. Cornelius, no scream. Minnie doesn't fight. I feel 10 years younger. No scream. No scream. No scream.
Now you'll learn something. Here comes my employer now, getting out of that cab.
Oh yeah, where is he? I'll knock him down too.
Cornelius, it's Wolftrap.
Alright, listen everybody. I think the screen's a good idea. Or we can do with more screens, like 3 and 4.
Lay down, Cornelius, and start changing your mind. Now hurry up, Rudolph. We're ready for the soup.
Stack? What is the meaning of this? I told you I wanted a table alone.
Mr. Vandegoder, I did what I could. You wouldn't believe what wild people the people of New York are. There's a woman over there, Mr. Vandegoder. Civilization hasn't touched her.
Everything's wrong. Can't even manage a thing like this. Now help me off my coat. Don't kill me!
No, I can't hear you.
My voice again, I'm sorry. Hey Barney, can you speak? Give me the sound.
Oh, all right. Bring your heads together and make me smile.
Where are those people over there?
Just in cities, bars and their girls. What goes on in New York, Mr. Vandegoder? Best not think of it.
Has that couple come down from upstairs yet? I hope they haven't gone off without your seeing them.
No, sir. Myself and the cabman, sir, we've kept our eyes on everything.
I'll stay here away from my guests. You go out to the cab.
Yes, sir.
Oh, what's that?
A purse. Did you drop something, Mr. Vandegoder?
Don't bother me. Just do what I tell you.
Yes, sir. A purse. That fellow over there must have let it fall during the misunderstanding about the screen. No, I won't look inside. $20 bills! Dozens of them! I'll go over and give it to him. You're surprised. You're surprised to see me letting go of this money so quickly, eh? Well, I'll explain it to you. There was a time in my life when my chief interest was picking up money that didn't belong to me. The law is there to protect property, but sure, the law has to be corrected. There are several thousands of people in this country engaged in correcting the law. For a while, I too was engaged in the redistribution of superfluities. Stealing's a weakness. There are some people who say a man should have no weaknesses at all, no vices. But if a man has no vices, he's in grave danger of making vices out of his virtues, and there's a spectacle. Well, we've all seen them. Men who are monsters of philanthropy, and women who are dragons of purity. We've seen people who told the truth through the heavens fall, and the heavens fell. No. Nurse one vice in your bosom. Give it the attention it deserves, and let your virtues spring up modestly around it. Then you'll have the miser, who's no liar, and the drunkard, who's the benefactor of a whole city. Well, after I had that weakness of stealing for a while, I found another. I took to whiskey. And whiskey took to me. And then I discovered an important rule that I'm going to pass on to you. Never support two weaknesses at the same time. Well, it's your combination sinners, your lecherous liars and your miserly drunkards who dishonor the vices and bring them into bad repute. So now you see why I wanted to get rid of this money so quickly. I wanted to keep my mind free to do the credit to whiskey that it deserves. My last word to you, ladies and gentlemen, is this. One buzz at a time. Excuse me, sir. Can I speak to you for a minute?
Of course, we just wanted to apologize about the screen misunderstanding. What's your name, sir?
Stack, sir. Malachi Stack. Now, if you ladies will excuse me, I'd like to speak to you for a minute. Listen, come here. Have you lost something?
Mr. Stack, in this one day I've lost everything I own.
Here it is. Don't mention it.
Well, hey, Mr. Stack, this is a miracle, thank you. Hey, Barnaby, come here. I want you to shake hands with Mr. Stack. Like, you found that purse I lost, you know, with all the money in it? You're a wonderful man, Mr. Stack.
Oh, it's nothing. Nothing.
Hey, you're a good person to know, Mr. Stack. Where do you work?
Well, I've just begun. I work for Mr. Vandergelder in Yonkers.
You do? Oh, why, it's a miracle. Here, take this, just for the good work.
Don't mention it. It's nothing.
Oh, actually, take this, too.
Don't mention it.
Oh, actually, and this, too.
I'd better be going.
And this?
No, I might get to like them.
Well, Irene, I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm feeling so good, in fact, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Oh, I'd forgotten that, Minnie. Men get drunk so differently from women. All right, what's the truth?
All right, now, Irene, if I tell you the truth, will you let me put my arm around your waist?
Oh, don't tell me, Minnie. All right, you can put your arm around my waist just to show it can be done in a gentlemanly way, but I might as well warn you, a corset is a corset.
You're a wonderful person, Mr. Malloy.
Oh, thank you. All right, now what is the truth?
Irene, I'm not as rich as Mrs. Levi said I was.
Not rich.
I almost never came to New York, and you ought to know it. This very minute, Mr. Vandergelder is sitting on the other side of that screen.
What? Well, he's not going to spoil any party of mine, so that's why we've been whispering. Let's forget all about Mr. Vandergelder and have some more wine.
Good evening, Mr. Vandergelder.
Where's Mr.?
Mr. Vandergelder, I'll never trust a woman again as long as I live.
Well, what was it?
She ran away this afternoon and got married.
She did?
Married, Mr. Vandergelder, to a young boy of 50.
She did.
Oh, I'm as disappointed as you are. I can't eat a thing. What did you order?
I wonder what she told me to, a chicken.
I don't think I could face a chicken. Oh, waiter, how do you do? What's your name?
August, ma'am.
August. This is Mr. Vandergelder of Yonkers. Yonkers' most influential citizen of that. I want you to see that you serve the best you have, and serve properly. And only do the tools. Mr. Vandergelder has been some trying experiences today. But with men in a local store,
Mrs. Levi, you don't have to tell him everything about me.
Mr. Vandergelder, if you're thinking about getting married, you might as well learn right now you have to let women be women. No, August, you want excellent service.
Yes, ma'am.
You've managed things very badly. When I plan a thing, it takes place. Where are you going?
Oh, I just have to see who's on the other side of that screen.
Hello, Miss Levi.
Well, who was it?
Oh, just some city sparks entertaining their girls, I guess.
Always willing to know everything. Always putting your nose into other people's affairs. Anyone who lived with you would get nervous as a cat.
What's that you're saying?
I said, anyone who lived with you.
Horace Vandergelder, you get that idea right out of your head. I'm surprised you didn't mention such a thing. Understand once and for all, I have no intention of marrying you.
I didn't mean that.
You've been hinting around such a thing for some time now. But from now on, put such ideas right out of your head.
Stop saying that. That's not what I meant at all.
I should hope not. Horace Vandergelder, you go your way, and I'll go mine. I'm not some Irene Lord that can be turned by a pound of geraniums.
Mrs. Levi, you misunderstood me.
I certainly hope I did. If I had any intention of marrying again, it would be to a far more pleasure-loving man than you. Why, I married Winnie this hat before I married you. However, we won't discuss it anymore. Here's August for the food. I'll serve it, August.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's some white meat for you and some giblets. Very tender, very good for you. No, as I said before, you go your way and I'll go mine. Go right into the wine. I think you feel better at once. However, since you brought the matter up, that's one thing I think I've said.
I didn't bring the matter up at all.
Sit down, sit down. The close matter for everyone, just a moment. But there's one more thing I think I've said. It's true. I'm the one who likes to know everything that's going on, who likes to manage things. You're right about that. But I wouldn't like to manage anything as disorderly as your household is. Out of control, it's untidy.
It's not out of control.
Very well. Let's not say another word about it. How's your that squaw? It's good for you. No horse, a complaining, quarrelsome, friendless soul like you is no sort of companion for me. You go your way, and I'll go mine.
Would you stop saying that?
I won't say another word.
And besides, I'm not those things you said I am.
What? Well, I guess you're friendless, aren't you? Ermengarde told me this morning you can call with your barber. A man who's held the greatest church you've got for 20 years?
But
Seems to me that's getting pretty low.
my clerks, they
They like you? Cornelius happened at Barnaby? Behind your back, they call you wolf trap.
they don't.
No worse, it looks to me as though the last person who would like you. And even I'm just so-so. Sometimes, just sometimes, I think I ought to marry out of sheer pity. And if the confusion in your house gets any worse, I may have to.
I haven't asked you to marry me.
Well, please don't.
And my house is not in confusion.
What? With your niece upstairs in the restaurant right now?
I fix that better than you know.
And your clerks sleeping around New York behind your back?
They're in Yonkers, but they always are.
Nonsense.
What do you mean nonsense?
Cornelius happened was on the other side of the screen this very minute.
He ain't the same man.
Go and see.
I don't believe you.
All right, you're chicken. Of course, worse. If your affair would go badly worse, and you became actually miserable, I might feel it was my duty to come to Yonkers and give some assistance to you. After all, I was your oldest friend.
I don't know where you ever got such a notion. Now understand, once and for all, I have no intention of marrying anyone. Now I'm tired and I don't want to talk.
I won't say another word either.
Irene, I think we better get going now. Here, you take this and pay the bill. Don't worry, it's not mine.
No, I'll tell you what we'll do. You boys put on our hats and coats, and if he comes stamping over here, he'll think you're girls.
What, those things?
Yes, come on.
I've got a headache. I'm going to Florida Van Nuisance and back to my hotel. So here's the money to pay for it. I've lost my purse!
Impossible. I can't imagine without your purse.
It's been stolen or I left it in the cab. What am I going to do? Stop eating the chicken, I can't pay for it!
Of course, I'll be able to find some money. Sit down and calm yourself.
Dolly Gallagher, I give you $25 this morning.
I haven't a cent. I gave it to my lawyer. We could borrow some money from Mango's number upstairs.
I wouldn't take it.
Cornelius Happy lent it to us.
He's in Yonkers. Waiter!
Cornelius, is this Mr. Vandergelder's purse?
Oh, I didn't know it. I just thought it was some money floating around that didn't belong to anybody.
Goodness, that's what politicians think.
Waiter!
Why should we spoil our evening? Cornelius, I can teach you to dance in a few minutes. Oh, well, he already has you. Oh, Barnaby, it's the easiest thing in the world.
Of course, you dance me at your wedding, and you dance me at mine. Do you remember?
No. Yes?
Of course, you were a good dancer then. Don't confess to me now you're too old to dance.
I'm not too old, I just don't want to dance.
Listen to the music. Do you remember the dances at Yonkers on Saturday nights? You gave me a fan. Come on.
Sorry about that. You're discharged! You're fired! Where's that anybody where he's fired too? You're discharged! You're discharged! I'll lock you up for the rest of your life, young lady! I'll have you arrested. I never will see you again. Get out!
You can't do anything to me, Mr. Vandergelder.
Get out!
Well, there's your life, Mr. Vandergelder. Without niece, without clerks, without bride, and without your purse. Will you marry me now?
No!
Darn!
No, ma'am, I could swear I heard a cab pulling up to the door.
imagination, everything in life's like that. Disappointment, illusion, our plans, our hope. What becomes of them? Nothing. Story of my life.
Thank God nothing's happened to the dear girl. Say, is it a long journey up from Yonkers?
No, but long enough for 1,000 things to happen.
Well, we've been waiting all day. Don't you think we ought to call the police about it?
The police? If it's God's will, the police can't prevent it. And if anything really terrible has happened to Ermengarde, it'll be a lesson to him. That's what it'll be.
To who?
To that cruel uncle of hers, of course. To Horace Vandergelder. And to anyone else who tries to separate young lovers. Young lovers have enough to contend with as it is. Who should know that better than I? La 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 la! Oh, there! Now I hear a cat.
No, ma'am, I don't see anything.
There, what did I tell you? Everything's imagination, illusion.
But surely if they changed their plans, Mr. Vandergelder would have sent you a message.
Oh, I know what's the matter. That poor child probably thought she was coming to another prison, to another tyrant. If she'd known that I was her friend, and a friend to all young lovers, she'd be here by now. Cook, a minute ago my smelling salts were right on this table. Now they've completely disappeared.
Why, there they are, ma'am. Right there in your hands.
Goodness, how'd they get there? I won't inquire. Stranger things have happened.
I suppose Mr. Vandergelder was sending her down on someone?
Two can go astray as easily as...
God bless you. Oh, now here's a carriage pulling up.
Well, we can let the front door, Cook.
Hey, this isn't the station. What are you doing? Oh,
Gentlemen, calm down.
There must be some mistake.
Hey, get your hands off me, man. This is a free country. Come on.
Forward march.
Hey, get off! Go, we have order!
What are you doing?
Hey, come on.
Begging your pardon, ma'am, are you Miss Van Dusen?
Yes, I am, unfortunately. What's all this noise about?
There are two people here that Mr. Vandergelder said must be brought to this house and stay here until he arrives. And here's his letter to you.
No one has any right to tell me who I'm keeping my house if they don't want to stay.
You're right, ma'am. Everybody's always talking about people breaking into houses, ma'am. But there are more people in the world who want to break out of houses. That's what I always say. Hey, bring them in, Joe.
Hey, this young lady and I, we got in the cab, asked to be driven to the station. They brought us here, forced us to come inside. There's been a mistake.
Are you Miss Van Dusen?
Everybody's asking me if my name's Miss Van Dusen. I think that's a matter I can decide for myself. Now, you all be quiet so I can read this letter. This is Ermengarde and that rascal Ambrose Kemper. Now I know who you two are. Anyway, they're trying to run away. Story of my life. Keep them in your house until I come. Mr. Kemper, you have nothing to fear. Who are you?
I'm Joe. I'll stay here until the old man comes back. He owes me $15.
That's right, ma'am. We're supposed to stay here to see that they don't escape.
My dear child, take off your things. We'll have some coffee. You two go out and wait in the hall. I'll send coffee out to you. Cook, take them.
Miss Van Dusen, there's been a mistake.
Mr. Kemper, I'm not the tyrant you think I am.
I wasn't saying you were a
You don't
tyrant.
have to be afraid of me. I know you're trying to run away with this innocent girl. All my life, I have suffered from the interference of others. You shall not suffer as I did, so put yourself entirely in my hands. Ermengarde. Where's your luggage?
It's been mislaid.
Mislaid? How lifelike. Well, Ermengarde, you shall put in some of my clothes. Oh, she's a shy little thing, isn't she? Cook, you go in the kitchen and put some gingerbread in the oven and get coffee ready.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I go draw a good hot bath for Ermengarde.
Miss Van Dusen,
Believe me, you two, your troubles are at an end. You two will be married tomorrow. My dear, just like I did at your age. While you're bathing, I'll come and tell you the story of my life.
I don't want to take a bath. I always catch cold.
No, dear, you won't catch cold. I'll slap you all over. I'll be back in a minute.
Barnaby, you think we can just jump out this window here?
Yes. But we'd kill ourselves.
We just gotta wait for something to happen, I guess. Hey, Barnaby, the situation's desperate.
It began getting desperate about 4:30, and it's been getting worse ever since then. Now I have to go take a bath and get slapped all over.
Guard, you've still got those brush things on. Your bath's nearly ready. Mr. Kemper, you come in the kitchen and put your feet in the oven. What's that? It's the doorbell. I expect it's your uncle.
There's the doorbell.
Well, answer it, cook. Come along with me, you two. Come, Ermengarde.
Oh, it's another man. The girl in the cab. No, that's impossible. Well, come in anyway. There's some mistake. I'll tell Miss Van Dusen, but there's some mistake. But I tell you, I am Mr. Vandergelder's niece. I'm Ermengarde. Beg your pardon, miss, but you can't be Miss Ermengarde. But here I am, and there's my luggage. Well, I'll tell Miss Van Dusen who you think you are, but she won't like it.
You'll be all right now, Ermengarde. I better go before she sees me.
Oh, no! You must stay. I feel so strange here.
Well, Mr. Vandergelder will be here any minute.
Ambrose, you can't go. You can't leave me in this crazy house with these drunken men in the hall. We'll say you're somebody my uncle sent down to take care of me. We'll say you're Cornelius Hackle.
Who's Cornelius Hackle?
You know, chief clerk in Uncle's store.
I don't want to be Cornelius Hackle.
What's all this out here? Who do you say you are?
Oh, I'm Flora. Don't you remember me? I'm Ermengarde.
And you're Mr. Vandergelder's niece.
Yes, I am.
Well, that's very strange indeed, because he has just sent me another niece named Ermengarde. She came with a letter from him explaining everything. Have you got a letter from him?
No.
Really? And who is this?
Why, this is Cornelius Hackle, Aunt Flora.
Never heard of him.
Chief clerk in Uncle's store.
Never heard of him. The other Ermengarde came with the man she's in love with, and that proves it. She came with Mr. Ambrose Kemper.
Ambrose Kemper?
Yes, Mr. Hackle. Mr. Ambrose Kemper is in the kitchen there now with his feet in the oven. Dear child, what is the trouble?
Oh dear, I don't know what to do.
Are you in love with this man?
Yes, I am.
I can see it. Are people trying to separate you?
Yes, they are.
I can see it. Who? Horace Vandergelder?
Yes.
That's enough for me. I'll put a stop to Horace Vandergelder's goings-on. Mr. Hackle, think of me as your friend. We can decide later who everybody is. My dear, would you like a good hot bath?
Yes, I would.
Well, when Ermengarde comes out, you can go in.
Oh, Mr. Van Dusen,
Mr. Hackle!
I'll explain later.
Mr. Kemper, this is Mr. Cornelius Hackle. Mr. Hackle, this is Mr. Ambrose Kemper. Perhaps you two know one another.
No, we don't. Miss Van Dusen, I know that man is not Cornelius Hackle.
He is not. He's not Cornelius Hackle.
My dear young men, what does it matter what your names are? The important thing is that you are you. But this dear child imagines she's Horace Vandergelder's niece, Ermengarde.
But I am!
The important thing is that you're all in love. Everything else is illusion. Now, you two young men sit down and have a nice chat. Well, this dear child has a good hot bath.
There's the doorbell again.
Well, answer it.
It's a cat with 3 ladies. I never saw such a night.
Gentlemen, you can rest easy. I'll see that Mr. Vandergelder and his nieces marry you both.
Flora, how are you?
Dolly Gallagher, what brings you here?
Great heavens, Flora! What are those 2 drunken men doing in your hall?
I don't know. Horace Vandergelder sent them to me.
Well, I have 2 girls in much the same condition. Otherwise, the finest girls in the world. Greenlawn Oh, I see you two gentlemen are here too. Mr. Hagel, I was about to look for you. Somewhere here.
I'm ready to face anything now, Miss Levi.
Mr. Vanderbilt will be here in a minute. He's downstairs trying to pay for a cab without any money.
Oh, I'll help him.
Yes, will you, dear? You paid for the restaurant bills. Must have hundreds of dollars there, it seems.
Well, this is his own purse he lost. I can't give it back without seeming.
I'll give it back to him. There. You help with this now.
Will somebody please help me pay for this cab?
Oh, I'll take care of that, Mr. Vanderbilt.
Hello, Mr. Vanderbilt.
$15, Mr. Van Gelder.
You're discharged, and you too. Get out! So, I've caught up with you at last. I never want to see you again. You're discharged, both of you. Get out!
Stop ordering people out of my house. You can shout and carry on when you're in Yonkers, but when you're in my house, you'll behave yourself.
You're both dishonest scoundrels.
Take your hat off. Gentlemen, you stay right where you are.
Miss Vanderbilt, I can explain everything.
There aren't going to be any explanations. Horace, stop scowling at Mr. Kemper and forgive him.
That's not Kemper. That's a dishonest rogue Cornelius Hackett.
You're crazy. That's Cornelius Hackett.
I guess I know my own chief clerk.
I don't care what their names are. Shake hands with them both or out you go.
Shake hands with those dogs and scoundrels?
Mr. Vandergelder, you've had a hard day. You don't want to go on the rain now. Just for form's sake, shake hands with them. You can start pulling again tomorrow.
There. Don't regard it as a handshake. I don't want to see you again.
Miss Van Heusen.
Yes, dear.
Do I smell coffee?
Yes, dear.
Can I have some good and black?
Come along, everybody. We'll all go to the kitchen and have some coffee. Horace, you'll be interested to know there are 2 Ermengardes in there.
You were She is.
Ephraim Levi, I'm going to get married again. Ephraim, I'm going to marry Horace Vandergelder for his money. I'm going to send his money out doing all the things you taught me. Oh, it won't be a marriage in the sense that we had one, but I shall certainly make him happy. And Ephraim, I'm tired. I'm tired of living from hand to mouth, and I'm asking your permission. Will you give me away? Money. It's like the sun we walk under. It can kill or cure. Mr. Vandergelder's money. Vandergelder's never tired of saying most people in the world are fools. In a way, he's right, isn't he? Himself, Irene, Cornelius, myself. But there comes a moment in everyone's life when you must decide whether to live among human beings or not. A fool among fools or a fool alone. As for me, I decided to live among them. I wasn't always so. After my husband's death, I retired into myself. Yes, in the evening, I'd put out the cat and lock the door and make myself a little rum toddy. And before bed, I'd say a prayer, thanking God that I was independent, that no one's life was mixed up with mine. One night, after 2 years of this, an oak leaf fell out of my Bible. I had placed it there on the day my husband asked me to marry him. A perfectly good oak leaf, but without color and without life. And suddenly I realized that for a long time I'd not shed one tear, nor had I been filled with the wonderful hope that something or other would turn out all right. I saw that I was like this oak leaf, and on that night I decided to rejoin the human race. Yes, we're all fools, and we're all in danger of destroying the world with our folly. But the surest way to keep out of harm's way is to give us the 4 or 5 human pleasures that are all right in the world. And that takes a little money. The difference between a little money and no money at all is enormous and can shatter the world. And the difference between a little money and an enormous amount of money is very slight, and that too can shatter the world. Money, I've always felt money, pardon my expression, it's like manure. It's not worth a thing until you spread it around and encourage the young things to grow. Anyways, that's the opinion of the second Mrs. Vandergelder.
Miss Van Heusen asked me to bring this to you.
Thank you both. Sit down and rest yourself. What's been going on in the kitchen?
Well, a lot of foolishness. Everyone's falling in love with everybody. But I forgave them. Ermengarde, that artist of hers.
I knew you would.
I made Cornelius Hackett my partner.
You won't regret it.
Dolly, you said some mighty unpleasant things to me in the restaurant tonight. All that about my house and everything?
Let's not say another word about it.
Dolly, you have a lot of faults.
I know what you mean.
Bossy, scheming, inquisitive.
Go on.
But Dolly, you're a wonderful woman. Marry me.
Horace, stop right there.
I know I've been a fool about Mr. Malloy and that other woman. But Dolly, forgive me and marry me.
Horace, I don't dare.
What do you mean?
You know as well as I do that you're the first citizen of Yonkers. Naturally, you'd expect your wife to keep open house, have scores of friends going in and out all the time. Any wife of yours should be used to that kind of thing.
Dolly, you can live any way you like.
Horace, you can't deny it. Your wife would have to be somebody. Answer me. Am I somebody?
You are. Wonderful woman.
Oh, you're partial. Horace, it won't be enough to load your wife with money and jewels. Then she'd be benefactors to half the town? No? She has to be somebody. Do you think I'd have it in me to be a credit to you?
Dolly, everyone knows you can do anything you wanted to do.
I'll try. With your help, I'll try. And by the way, I found your purse.
Where did you, wonderful woman?
It just walked into my hands. I don't know how I do it. Sometimes I frighten myself. Take it, Horace. Money walks out of my hands too.
No, Dolly, you keep it. Keep it.
Horace, I never thought I'd ever hear you say anything like that.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't know anybody was in here.
Didn't know anyone? Idiot.
Come in, Barnaby, come in.
Come in, Barnaby, come in.
Cornelius is going to marry Mrs. Malloy.
Isn't that fine? Horace?
Oh, go and tell the rest of them that Mrs. Levi's consented,
Finally consented.
finally consented to become my wife.
Holy cabooses! Hey everybody! Mr. Van Gelder is going to marry Mrs. Levi.
Dolly, that's about the best news I ever heard. There isn't any more coffee. There isn't any more gingerbread, but there are 3 couples in my house, and they're all going to get married.
There isn't any more coffee, there isn't any more gingerbread, and there isn't any more play. But there's one more thing I think we have to do. Barnaby, come here. I think the youngest person here ought to tell us what more of the play is.
I think it's about adventure. The test of adventure is that when you're in the middle of it, you say to yourself, oh, now I've got myself into an awful mess. I wish I were sitting quietly at home. And the sign that something's wrong is when you are sitting quietly at home, saying to yourself, I wish I were having lots of adventure. So now, I'm going to thank you all for coming out tonight. And we hope that in your lives, you have just the right amount of sitting quietly at home and just the right amount of adventure. Good night.